Hey everybody, I have pots that need plants and I happen to have plants over here that I want to test out, ready for pots. So let's give these a go. I've got some really interesting ones here. So these containers here, these are interesting. They look like terracotta, but they're actually just like a styrofoam. I checked the bottom of it because these are ones that I found up in the barn. We've had them for years. It's a company called ThermaLite. And it says like American Designer Partners, but I don't know if that company is still in business or not. In here though, I was thinking of giving a little try of this Saucy Coral Salvia. So this is the one that I had purchased because I wanted to compare it to the coral that we had, the main Grandstand. So wanted to give that a go. And then I also wanted to put in here, I wanted to go with a nice contrasting color. So this is a Jamesbrittenia, and this is the Safari Dusk. So this is a Proven Winners one. The Proven Winner colors of the Jamesbrittenia are really unusual and unique. The other companies that have them, they're usually just like a yellow or a pink. They have some really intense colors. I don't always love the habit on Jamesbrittenia. I find it to be, I call it lumpy bumpy. It's not a real consistent habit, but I do want to give it a go and see how it does, because we did grow it the first year Proven Winners had it, and it didn't grow well for us, but it was when it was small. So I want to try a mature one. And I think these colors look good. There's right in the center there's a nice kind of orangey color, kind of a pop in there. So that's really nice. And let's see, this is a really tiny container that this came in, but it's not too bad as far as the roots. They're in good shape. And I'm gonna just pop that there. And then I thought I'm gonna just add 2 more plants, something really simple. These here are the MiniFamous Neo Deep Orange. So there's Neo and Uno. Uno is a little bit smaller, Neo is a little bit bigger. And I mean, orange is not the perfect match with this, but I just feel like it's kind of a nice kind of carpet that's gonna go down. These are gonna go up. I think they're gonna all kind of come together in a nice way. So let's see here. Just gonna put those in just on the side, steal some soil from next door. And this is just such a simple little combination. We'll see how it looks over time. I think that Salvia has the potential of getting quite large, which makes me think maybe I should move it a little bit more to the middle, but no, that'll be fine. We'll just leave it where it is. Or maybe I'll give it like a centimeter nudge. How's that? There we go. And it does look a little bare right back here, but again, if this salvia is gonna get bigger, because this is a big salvia, in my opinion anyway, it gets a decent size, so I wanna make sure that it's good. Now somebody was asking how you get like soil if you have a hard to reach place, or you gotta try to get it in between the plants. If you can't use your fingers, you could use like the back of your garden tools, or my mom always has like a 2-inch or like a 1x2, or I don't know, or 1/2 by 1 or something, little piece of wood that she just kind of uses to cram it in there, and she finds that works for her really well. So something to keep in mind if you do need to fill in with the soil. Okay, I'm gonna move this one to the side, and we'll fill this one right away just so that we have both those done. And for the middle here, I'm gonna be putting the Maestro Coral Agastache. So this year I am on like a coral and orange fix. I'm not sure why. So what was I going to put it with? Oh, so this one I was going to just put in the middle. And the Agastache can get pretty tall, so I've got to keep that in mind. 18 to 24 inches, so that's a plenty good size. And it does have a pretty nice smell. It's very minty smelling. This one's also known as a hummingbird mint, or you could call it a nice hyssop as well, or it might be some of the other names. I'm just going to break that little piece off. And I have noticed with regular Agastache, if you trim it a little bit, it does tend to be a little fuller. It keeps it from getting super leggy or anything like that. This one here is an Alternanthera called Red Threads, and I love this texture on it, and I think it's a great color. I hope it looks good with the coral. You can see on this one, like the flower is a little lighter than what it's coming out of. Is that also called a calyx when you're talking about a Agastache? So let's see. So I'm just gonna put one of each of these on each side. So on this one, I'm gonna be putting 5 plants in. And then I'm trying a new plant here that didn't come with a tag. So whoever had it, that's all it said was that it was a Petchoa. And a Petchoa is a cross between a petunia and a calibrachoa. And when I did like a little image search on it, it said, oh, this is the Super Cal Premium Caramel. This is not the caramel color. There is a new one coming out that looks like it's a little bit like this color, but I'm not sure. So this one didn't have a label. And it does look like a Petchoa to me, because a lot of times the Petchoas have a little bit of that veining and that color shift in them. So I like the Petchoas a lot. They grow really well for me. They're going to grow, well, the other ones, I don't know about this one, tend to grow kind of like a Supertunia, actually very similar to a Supertunia. They're really good. They're super cold tolerant. I mean, petunias in general are, and so are Calibrachoas, but the Super Cals, man, those things can handle any kind of cold that you have. And I could cut the flowers off or kind of tidy these up, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to put them in as is. I just want to enjoy them right now. So, and I know that I'm going to be fertilizing these pretty regularly. So if I keep fertilizing them, I'm going to get new growth on there. And if it does get any bit leggy or anything like that, I will then give it a little haircut. But right now I think it's fine. Okay, another one down. And I thought this was an interesting color combination. I'm not sure how the coral's going to go, but that's one advantage to having all this veining in this flower, is that it's going to pick up the colors from here, the color from here, yet it still has a brightness to it. So I think that's a pretty nice one. Now, we'll clean as we go, right? I ended up with this one here. This is the Sun Parasol FiredUp Orange. Really unusual color on this one. Very, very nice. Really do like it. Now, I think Mandevilla, normally you would pinch it. This one has not been pinched. It has a couple of, so it has 3 stems coming. I think I'm going to just leave it and just hope for the best, because I don't want to sacrifice that bloom. And I know you guys understand what I'm talking about. So it is actually, is it Mandevilla? It's a Dipladenia. So it's not a Mandevilla. They're cousins to each other. And what I want to put it in with is this peach Lantana. It is the Shamrock peach as well. And then the other plant that I'm putting it with is going to be a Laguna Royale Lilac Lobelia. And I really like how thick this habit is. Now it got a little mangy on me because I wasn't paying attention to it, and so it didn't get any kind of trimming or anything, but I'm not worried about that. I think it's gonna do its thing. Now, Lobelia can be a risky one if you're putting it in the hot sun. If the water issue, if it doesn't get water, they tend to not look good. So they're not great for hot climates, but for here in Michigan, they usually can hold up through the whole winter or whole summer. So, and I'm gonna be putting 4 plants in this one, and I think I will put a trellis on this. I probably should do that right now. Just because it gets harder as the plants get bigger. So I'll go get that real quick. Okay, so I have this wooden trellis that I'm going to use. That's because that's what I have. I sometimes prefer a black trellis, but this is going to get the job done. I could have painted this or something, but not today. So now I probably will lash this to it. So I'm going to undo this part of it. I think I can just take this out. And then I have these extra branches. I'm not even going to lash it. I'm just going to start winding it around and just keep training it to kind of go around it in different ways. There we go. And then there is a small one coming up. Maybe I'll just tuck it back there for now. And we'll see how this does. Now, Dipladenia, a lot of times you don't need a trellis for, but I think this one seems like it's going to get big enough. So we'll see. I don't always know what I'm doing, but I just roll with it, and hey, it'll be fine. Oh, I forgot. I have a second Mandevilla. This one actually is a Mandevilla, not a Dipladenia. It is the Sun Parasol something yellow. I don't have the tag here. So let's see. What am I putting it with? Okay, I see what I'm doing. So we're going to get this in there. Oops. Okay, we'll pop that out. And I'm going to do the same thing where I get a trellis for it, but I won't put that on there now. And this one seems to be branching quite a bit more. So maybe that one doesn't need it as much, but we'll roll with it. And then this is the Calibrachoa, and this is the MiniFamous Uno Pink, or Funtopia Pink. And I remember seeing this one in the, so this one has a lot of roots. I don't usually break up my roots because I don't have to, but might as well do a little bit on there. And I'm just going to put, I have 2 colors. I have the Funtopia Pink and the Funtopia Purple. And I remember these from the trial gardens, and they grew really, really well. I probably don't need to put anything else in here if I didn't want to, but I have these plants here, so I want to give them a little spot here and it's a good way for me to test these. And yellow is my mom's favorite color. So this really was chosen specifically for her to enjoy. And I like the fact that on this Funtopia pink, there's actually quite a bit of yellow in the center, in the eye. Meanwhile, and it's a double, but it's interesting because the Funtopia, is it blue or is it purple? What do they call it? Oops. Yeah, Funtopia blue, but it looks purple, is definitely more of a true double, whereas this one it's still a true double, but it's not as doubly as the purple or the blue one is, so, okay. And the good thing about Calibrachoa is they tend to kind of grow and spread out, so I've got one side pink, one side blue. I think it looks great. Okay, next up I've got some shade containers, and these are going to be going to my house specifically. So what I want to do is what am I going to do this one with? Now I don't remember anything. Well, my intention was to plant up this Coleus into something. I think I'm just going to plant this solo because this thing gets big enough. It's called a Peter's Wonder. I've had it before. I really like it. It must have, when it was growing, it had been grown close, so it definitely has done this sort of thing. So we'll just pop it in here. This one can't take full sun, so it's going to be really good for our porch. And any of my shade ones on the porch, I put in the same pot. I like to do that so I can move them around a little bit. So as certain ones look better than others, I can put the nicest ones in the spot that I want, or the more prominent spot. Because, I mean, a lot of these containers, they kind of vary on how they look at different points. And so there's some that are in their prime at different times. So I like to be able to rotate those out. So that's a good one. Talk about easy. Coleus in a pot, and Coleus in a pot is so nice. It's such an underrated plant too. So this one is a little more complicated because the plant, oh, I know what I was going to put with this one. I almost didn't see it. I just have this pack of these Hypoestes, and so I definitely wanted to put, like, there's a red one in here. I don't know if the pink really matched, but I'm going to put them in there anyway. So why not? I have them. Let's put them to use, right? And if I don't like them, I can cut them out or pull them out later. So we'll just stick a couple of these in. I think these will look pretty good with this because the Peter's Wonder has enough different colors in there that it won't really matter. I probably don't need the Peter's Wonder the Hypoestes in there, but I want to use them. And I want to try to remind my sister-in-law, who's going to be taking care of these while I'm gone, to just keep trimming them back, because I noticed with Hypoestes, they do get fuller if you keep trimming them. Now, this is the one that I've got to think through here. So I ordered this heart-to-heart Caladium. It's a proven winner's plant, and it is called Creme Brulee. And this one really wowed me at the trial gardens. For some reason, I almost forgot about it. And then when I look back at my photos, I was like, oh, that is a really nice one. One thing I will say is that, like, these older blooms, I don't know if it was in shipping or just, you know, the way they were kind of being grown or whatever, but they are a little kind of spotty and spent. So I'm just going to cut those off right now because this plant's going to do fine without them, because look at all the new growth that's coming up. I have 5 different leaves coming up. And this is one of them that it can't take full sun. It's more of a part shade to shade. Yeah, so this one is one that I don't want to give it a lot of sun. Those leaves are going to burn if I do. And let's see, I have more than enough soil in this one. This is a pretty big container for this. And I have grown quite a few caladiums in my day. Did I call this a caladium? I feel like I must have called it the wrong name. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to push it to the one side maybe. I don't know, because this is so big. And these get a good size, and I could get away with just putting these in the pot, but right now it looks kind of boring. I want to put it with this Autumnale Fuchsia. I think this would just look so beautiful together. But I want to show you a couple things, because this is an Autumnale Fuchsia. One of our staff members was doing a test because she said, I really think we're not pinching it enough. And this is a plant we grew for the first time last year. And so we didn't know what to do. It doesn't always come with instructions. And so this is what it looks like when you pinch it a lot. If you don't pinch it as much, you start getting a little bit more of this action. Now, all of these branches will get bigger, but she has about twice as many branches as we do. And what she did is every time it would start growing, like if we're going to pinch this, she would go count like leaf nodes. She'd make sure there was at least 1, 2, or 3, and then she'd cut right above that leaf node, and then it would get a break, and then she'd go 1, 2, 3, cut it again. So these definitely can be cut. So I did actually trim one ahead of time so that I'd have it handy. And so it does not look like much now, but I know that it's going to produce some really nice growth, and it's going to be a lot fuller, which is exactly what I want. Now I also have a Plectranthus. Oh, that probably would be, the Plectranthus might take over a little bit down here, but you know what? I feel like this is looking a little rough right now, so just for the sake of making it look pretty right now, I'm going to put this purple Plectranthus in here, and let's see. Yeah, it does have a little root action going on. Like I said, I don't usually break up the roots, but when I see something that's really starting to swirl around in circles, I usually do kind of release them a little bit just to loosen them up. But otherwise, I don't. Annuals don't really need it because they're not going to be in these pots for very long. Their lifespan is pretty short, so they don't have enough time to start girdling or to cause any problems. So we don't need to be always breaking those roots and disturbing those roots in any way, because the new growth is going to grow around them or kind of grow out of that root ball unless it's really compacted. Okay. So this one is the riskiest one of the group. It could, though, as it grows out, be one of the prettiest ones of the group. So it'll be interesting to see. So I feel like the Plectranthus is just my little saving grace. It's my little thing that I'm sticking in there to kind of hide everything else. But I think that this Caladium is going to be beautiful, and I love that Autumnale Fuchsia. So we'll see what it does. Oh, I have another one. Yes, I do. So this one here is a big pink begonia with green leaf, and I think I'm going to have to grab my other container because that one I've used a lot of soil out of. And the big begonia going to be very similar to the Surefire or the Viking, those kind there. These get really nice sized. This one too in particular, I love how well branched everything is, and look at all that growth down there towards the bottom. It's really healthy and happy. So I'm going to just put this one in the middle, and then I decided I'm going to plant it with a lemon coral sedum. And let me just show you something. So this lemon coral sedum is particularly like full, like it's filling out the pot. So I'm going to cut it in half so I can actually just spread it around this pot. Let me go get my serrated knife. Okay, so that's all I do is basically cut it in half. Okay, pull it apart, and in theory, I could probably cut this into 4 pieces if I really wanted to. Also, it will root from these things if I put them in there, but it takes a really long time for roots to come from something this size. So instead, that's all I like to do is this. Man, I could probably, let me just look a little closer. Well, I'm not going to risk cutting it in half again, but I definitely could. And so that makes it really easy. So let's pot it into here. And lemon coral sedum can get pretty big, so you do have to be careful because it grows in this big giant clump, and so it can push out other plants. This begonia is going to be fine here because the begonia is going to just rise up above it for the most part, at least it should, and so that won't be a problem. And then for this other piece, I'll just put it back here, and so I have it on both sides. And like I said, if I wanted to, I probably could have tried to push that into 4 cuts and get 4 plants out of it, but sometimes if you cut it too much, one side takes and the other side doesn't. So, and I think propagation, this is a propagation protected, so you can't sell what you've just propagated there legally. So I don't recommend you ever trying to do that, but I think for home use, it's a good way to make it go farther. And if I didn't propagate it, or if I didn't cut it in half, I would have just had one in here and I would have just put it in front of the plant. That looks good too. But I like the idea of balancing it out. And this will eventually cover the entire pot. So that's really nice. So this looks a little bare now, but I'm going to leave it that way and let that lemon coral sedum grow into that. Okay, this is also a chance for me to show you the difference in the new Eco Grande pot. So they've been changing this design every year or two. So this is the one from last year, and it kind of, you're supposed to pinch it here, I guess, or remove the plant tabs. They say you can plant it right in the pot. I don't recommend it. I don't think this breaks down fast enough, but it is compostable. You can put it in your compost or just throw it in the garden and it will break down. This one here is going to be a little, it's like a clearer plastic, a little bit more, like you can see through it a little bit more than this one. I don't know, just something a little different.